and good morning. Thank you for watching the Camnet Breakfast Show. My name is Sarah Chandamvanga, and I'm not alone. I'm with Precious, who will later on join me. But not, it's not only that. Well, we come in to educate you.
You're
already here. Please, let me finish. We update you on the current affairs and the things that you missed out during the course of the week. And we are going to update you on so many things, you know. It's so many headlines that we're going to talk about. Right about now, let me first of all greet Precious, because she won't let me. Precious, good morning.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm good, Sarah. How are you?
I'm all right.
How's been your week?
It has been okay.
That's good.
It has been okay.
That's very good.
How's been your week?
It's been amazing. I think it makes the two of us, we've actually had great weeks. It's
definitely
been
amazing. Definitely.
It's been a countdown to tomorrow where I'm turning. When someone is describing me now, they'll be saying she's in her late 20s. That's how bad life is, you know.
What age are you turning, first of all?
20-something.
20.
I'm just know that I'm above 25 by a few years. So we are in the late 20s now. Okay. But anyway, I'm also excited that also today is my young brother's birthday.
Oh wow.
So I would love to say happy birthday to Pythias Sakadeji. Happy 90th birthday. May this new age open great doors to awesome opportunities, and may God continue to bless you.
Amen.
And a happy birthday to you if you're celebrating your birthday today.
Definitely.
I wish I could sing, but you want to sing for my bride? Oh, no.
Okay, happy birthday to
you. Everyone that's celebrating their birthday.
Whoever is celebrating their birthday. Precious, wait.
Okay, you start.
Don't sing Chilea, please.
Ah, you start. Start.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Hip hip hooray! We're actually two July babies on at Camnet TV. Also, amazing, Katamanda was celebrating her birthday on the 5th.
Okay.
So yeah, happy belated birthday, Katamanda.
Oh, definitely.
I know she wished me happy birthday on a Friday. That's how complicated our situations are because of this spacing and we're on set. But anyways, good morning to you and hope you're having a very joyful and energetic day as we are today this morning, and we're hoping that you'll catch up on things that you missed out during the course of the week, and also not forgetting our conversation for the day marries what has been happening for the past few months since we had the new government. We've seen quite a number of back and forth with the Drug Enforcement Commission and also the Anti-Corruption Commission. So we'll be talking about the role of the Drug Enforcement Commission. We'll have somebody that will just come and explain what currently is going on, the current investigations, and also what is required before an investigation is instituted. But remember that you can get in touch with us live in the studio. You can come through on 0968 675 273 or 0973 167540. Okay. Yeah, she had to master the other one. But anyways, right about now, what are we getting into?
Okay, right about now, let's get into the health talk. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Francisca Walia. I'm a medical doctor by profession and I've specialized in psychiatry, the mental health field of medicine. And today I'm representing the Medical Women Association of Zambia, MWAZ, as we create awareness around mental health. We're going to continue and speak about mental health. We had done an introduction and spoken about what mental health is, and I believe we have gotten a better appreciation of what mental health is. So we'll go a step further and say, how does mental health actually present itself? How does mental health present itself? And earlier we alluded to the aspect that is it the severe presentation that a lot of people are accustomed with, where they hear of someone trying to end their life, or they see someone undressing in public, being violent, very aggressive? Is that the only presentation of mental health or psychiatric presentation? Taking into consideration that we're not just speaking of illness or disease, but we're talking about a spectrum of well-being, about one being in optimal mental health. And when we speak about optimal mental health, we're talking about an individual being at a place where they're their best in their cognition, in the way they think, in the way they make decisions, apply themselves, they're very productive. And even when it comes to managing their mood, they're able to manage their mood well, they're able to compose themselves in different circumstances and situations, and they're able to socialize well with others. So already, just from the various aspects that I'm bringing out, one can also deduce the various symptoms that one can look out for when we're talking about mental health. So some of them may seem very simple, but they're very significant to one's mental well-being. How is one sleeping? It can be on either extreme. Are you sleeping a lot? You just constantly find yourself, you can't wake up, or you don't want to wake up, you just want to be lying down. Or are you not sleeping at all? You're having difficulty sleeping, you can't, or when you sleep, you only sleep for a few hours, you're awake again, or when you wake up, you're so tired, you don't feel refreshed after sleeping. Those can present in various ways, as well as one's eating habits. Are you finding yourself eating a lot? For others, actually, that's a negative coping mechanism, whereby now one is just eating a lot, they feel they can eat their problems away, or they want to just shut down and one just keeps eating. Or on the other extreme, one is not eating at all, they can't eat. Even if they've been active, even if it reaches that point where they know that, okay, I should have eaten, my body needs something, but they have no appetite. They can't apply themselves to eat. One's mood, very common presentation. How are you feeling most of the time? Would you say you're in control of how you feel or your mood and in different circumstances? Or are you labile? Are you feeling mostly sad most of the times? Or do you feel you're not able to control your mood in various circumstances? All these can be telltale signs of one's mental health not being in the best place. Then further, how is your thinking in general? What type of thoughts do you constantly have? Are they positive? Are they productive? Are they thoughts that push you to apply yourself in a positive way? Or are they usually negative? Are they mostly paranoid type of thoughts? Or thoughts of harming oneself or harming others? Or looking negative at world, life, work, school, various areas of our lives? How is our thought pattern? And how is our thinking in general? How is your memory? How are you applying yourself? How are you making decisions? Then as well, how we are socially. As human beings, we're social beings. So the social aspect is also very important to our general well-being. So here we see, is someone constantly isolating themselves, having difficulty to interact with others? Already one can tell that, okay, something is wrong. Even the things that maybe one used to enjoy socially or as hobbies, you find that now they're such a difficult thing to do or want to apply themselves. And for others, when it comes to coping approaches, are you one of those, maybe you never used to take any alcohol, then all of a sudden you just find yourself you're taking alcohol, or using illicit drugs, heroin, cocaine, codeine to cope with life, or various stresses? Or for those who take alcohol already, you find yourself consuming more than you usually used to, and it's starting to affect various areas of your life. Those are telltale signs. And in other incidents, one can actually even present with physical symptoms. Physical presentations which are not adding up. You go to the hospital, investigations are done, but nothing can be picked up. Because certain mental health presentations can actually present with physical symptoms. Then of course, another extreme is the symptoms that we call psychotic symptoms, which a lot of times people are quick to associate with mental health and psychiatry, which of course is understandable. Though when we talk about mental health presentations, it's more than that. And these are the symptoms whereby now someone is hearing voices when there's no one around them or no one talking to them. Or one is seeing things that other people are not seeing. Or one is having very unusual thoughts. Maybe someone believes that someone wants to kill them, but there's no evidence for that. Or people are after them, trying to harm them. So already we're seeing that there are various presentations of mental health symptoms. And it's important for us to appreciate some of these symptoms, because it's only when we are aware that we can now actually recognize some of these symptoms when we're experiencing them. And then we can intervene and actually do something about them. And we want to reach a place whereby we just don't think of these symptoms when they are severe, but we're able to monitor our mental well-being on a daily basis, just like we're able to for our physical health. Because when we talk about our physical health, one is able to say, okay, I think I'm not fine, I've got a headache. Okay, maybe let me try and take some water to help the headache. Maybe let me take a minimal analgesic like paracetamol to help with the headache. If it persists, we probably even seek medical attention for that. But are we able to recognize as well when we're not our best mentally, so that we intervene? If you're able to recognize that, okay, you know what, I don't know, I'm having difficulty sleeping, I think my mood, I'm not regulating, you are actually able to take time and reflect like, okay, why am I in this state? You take time to assess, analyze your life, or what's going on, what could really be affecting me, and probably intervene at that point. And in that way, one will prevent severe presentations. So it's important for us to understand some of these presentations of mental health so that we can better take care of ourselves. And for those of us who are listening and following, let's look out for these symptoms in the people around us, in our loved ones, in our with our colleagues, with our churchmates, and with ourselves especially. Let's look out for these symptoms so that we can take the necessary steps if need be. Thank you for listening.
Well, there you have it. Hope you have learned one or two things concerning that conversation, which is mental health. She actually mentioned some signs of how you can spot symptoms that there's something mentally not okay with yourself or somebody closer to you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because she mentioned, like, when you begin to isolate yourself, again, it's a cause that you are maybe mentally disturbed. Yeah, so for that, if at all you are facing that challenge, you can just visit any health facility where you be counseled and given advice on how you can handle that condition. You know, sometimes, again, if at all you're passing through a certain situation, it's better to share. These are the same people or conditions that are leading people to commit suicides and all that. So if at all you face such a challenge or you get to have this condition, which is the mental health problems, you can just visit any health facility where you can be advised.
Majority of them have counseling sections. Yes. And also, this actually conversation has come at the right time. Yesterday I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and she mentioned how a relative has been refusing to take medication. So when they don't take medication for a certain period of time, they start behaving in a certain way. So I feel, anyway, our psychiatrist who is coming through today, so he'll actually advise and gives us more, highlight more on what are the chances of people getting better once they start their medication. So when they don't take their medication, they start to act in a certain way. So there are certain mental health problems that can actually suppress with medication.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't know how true that is. I'm not a medical doctor, so we'll have a psychiatrist that will come through and explain more on that. And also talking about health benefits, it's very important to drink water. I know it's cold. Sarah?
I always take water.
Sarah, I know it's cold.
I do drink water.
I remember my mom. My mom is one person that has a habit of not taking water because it's cold. I can't take water. I'll just drink a tea or something. Well, tea is a source of you getting some hydration, but there's just a certain way that water behaves in your body. Definitely. It actually helps you have a proper digestion system. It helps in digestion. Definitely. So I know it's cold, but let's drink
water.
Abby?
Yes,
okay.
It's very important.
Very, very
important.
And
also exercising, looking at, okay, we had...
Are you still doing your squats?
No, I stopped.
You stopped?
I stopped.
How long have you been on a break?
I think 2 months now. Is it 2? When was
okay,
that?
If it's 2 months.
No, 1 month in between.
Pass another 1 month and you can start again for another 6 months. I think I might join you. I might join you on your squats. Okay. On your squats journey this time around.
You have to. You just have to.
But I know there are side effects.
Yes.
Well, there are side effects. Unexpected. I know elderly people don't like it when we say back aches, but if you're doing squats, there's some side effects. Just like a pinch, like yeah, if you're doing squats. But anyway, like we always say when we talk about exercising, when you're exercising, you need to know which part of your body you're focusing on so that you
can see the results.
Yes, you can see the results. So it's very, very important to know what you're working on. It might be belly fat, which is the hardest fat to get rid of on the body. But you need to know what you're focusing on so that you can exercise towards that. It might be weight loss. Others go on that. Others that works for them. Others it doesn't. You need to get in the gym. If you can't run, it's important to actually walk.
Yeah.
Especially for those people that drive back and forth. When you're leaving the house, you're getting in the car. From the car, you get to the office. You go and sit. And then afterwards, it's your life. Your life is like that. What you need to understand is that the more you don't do that, the more your body is getting used to a certain behavior. Hence, there are times where umuntu, just from nowhere, they have cardiac arrest, they have a heart attack and stuff like that. So it's important to make sure at least once in a while, just take a walk, jog if you can, do home exercises if you can. Now we have the internet, so we have access to a lot of things, and we need to take advantage of that.
Definitely.
Yes, that was the health fitness Miss Sakalichi.
Yes.
Yeah.
So right about now, let's get into the money market
and see how the foreign exchange looks like. There was a lot of noise about the United States dollar a few weeks back. Then it was actually trending on social media. So it's currently buying at 16 kwacha point 20 ngwe and selling at 16 kwacha point 52 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 19 kwacha point 45 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha point 84 ngwe. The euro is buying at 16 kwacha point 47 ngwe and selling at 16 kwacha point 79 ngwe. And then the South African rand has actually dropped. It's buying at 96 ngwe and selling at 98 ngwe. That is your money market. I love the sight of that. I love South African rand. I like it. It has been at one buying and selling. The most was 1 kwacha 50 ngwe.
Mostly.
So now it has dropped to just the ngwes.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're trying to get there. Anyways, conversation for the day is what is the role of the Drug Enforcement Commission, and then later on we'll be having a conversation with an author on a book that they wrote, which is one that caught my attention because of the title, Church Hurt. But was inspired because there are some people that actually go to church. I don't know if you've noticed, there's some people that go to church, but then they're not as free as they're supposed to be because they're in the house of the Lord.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have been in a situation whereby when you are leaving your house and going to church, there's that one particular individual that stresses the hell out of you when you're at church, which is not supposed to be the case.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. So they decided to write a book concerning that and how one can identify such situations and get past them.
Definitely, because we've noticed that there's some people whereby they will attend church service. Then maybe somebody will address them in a way that they wouldn't they don't like it. They'll be like, Shaka church. Why? Because of
church. Because there's specifications.
Definitely at school, because of how somebody addressed them. But you're not following people, going for people that side. you want to hear what God has for you, and you want to know more about the word or the gospel of the Lord.
Getting closer and getting a stronger relationship.
Definitely.
I don't know about
Precious Mind Doctor.
Yeah, I'm actually, let me tell you, I have been doing some, because of some certain life preparations, I had to switch churches.
Okay.
So I am actually under some lessons. Okay. So I will be baptized in a few weeks to go. Amazing. So I'm excited.
Wow.
I mean, yes, I go to church.
You go to church?
I go. I'm a proud Christian right now.
Very proud Christian.
And I don't know, there's just something about understanding the gospel and knowing what wonders God can actually do in your life. So once you get at that certain stage in your life, there's no going back. Because greater things keep happening in your life, and you go like, this is what I have been missing out. God is real. And God is great. But anyways, 0968675273 is the number that you're catching us on. Or get to our Facebook platform. Actually, we've posted the topic there for you. You can comment and give us what your views or opinions are. Feel free to call in, and also on the other number,
0973167840. 0973 167
Yeah, okay.
Like that.
Yeah, better.
No, when you go with the 3 digits,
okay, so anyway, they are different people. Yeah. 4 digits. But anyways, let's get into zooming into the headlines and see what stories that actually were trending during the course of the week. Very, very sad story where we had to run 2 stories in the course of the week of people that were actually murdered in Kanyama constituency. That's Chibolia compound. So we'll play this back to back, and then we'll continue with the conversation on the other side.
I'm here in Lusaka's Chibolia compound, which is mainly known for criminal activities. These criminal activities have been attributed to the high drug and alcohol abuse here in this community, which has mainly been caused by the lack of productive activities among the youths. Now, just here where we're standing, the body of a man suspected to be around 26 years old was found hacked to death this morning. It is suspected that the man was hacked to death in the early hours of Wednesday morning. Now, this has happened within just a space of 2 days when Camnet TV carried a similar story just here in Chibolia compound, where the body of a man who has not yet been identified was found in an incomplete building. We talked to some eyewitnesses who have expressed concern about the security situation here in the area.
Wamucheka pakati kumatako apa parikati maninga apa na sapato alibi.
Mnyamata vampaya vamcheka na maronda. After kuona so naenda ku polisi kuchita ripoti polisi na bwana polisi babwela bayangana ngala mpenda kuchipopa pano amyangana wa mkopa msnapi futina kutumira ba in charge na kubwela kumtenga.
Others state that most of the police patrols are conducted during daytime and instead of the nighttime when they're needed the most.
Polisi wakuno baikeko nzeru bantu ni soche every time mkaenda pa polisi mwende mtengo wa polisi olo kwa chitika problem manpower palibe balipoche babiri but kuseni ndepa nwapeze kawapita mogwira abantu banwazipitia na tumabagi but kutwasenze nchito yao ba polisi siwafuna tavutika kuno cloud please wa polisi waikeko nzeru maagala 19 nshiyayamba
ipa uyu mtu sana mpae bwino kuno kwa tutima kangiwa kugona 19 hours nshibantu ayamba kwambo kumenya 18 hours ufunika cha uyopa
sana febwino olonyama simungaje mwanje bamuchencha ula kuyipa bakapukula kubapeza bali kuseni.
We also spoke to the Ward Development Committee chairperson, Mr. Gift Nswana, who has actually expressed concern over the low staffing levels at the police posts here in Chibolia.
Yes, we have neighborhood watch, but we don't have enough manpower from the police.
We also spoke to the area councillor, Harimonga Nkumbula, Ward 12 councillor, Mr. Aaron Mwanza.
We are calling for other stakeholders to come on board and assist us with that, with the transportation. You can imagine the all police posts that we have here. We have enough, at least 5 of them. We don't have even a single duty vehicle.
We have also reached out to the Zambia police to ask if there are any plans to actually be conducting random searches in people's houses to actually search for these weapons. There has been a lot of talk from different stakeholders actually calling for the demolition of Chibolya compound. Others, however, have been stating that demolishing Chibolya is not the solution, but actually rehabilitation centers should actually be constructed here because they say there is need for a mindset change instead of demolishing the whole compound. We will continue to monitor the situation in Chibolya compound to see how things unfold here and if there will be a permanent solution to Chibolya compound, which has remained notorious for a long time. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. I'm here in New Chibolya compound of Lusaka, and behind me is a building commonly known as Mutakulwa. Now, according to the residents here, this building has actually become a target which is used for many vices such as rape, murder, and the dumping of dead bodies. And so this morning of 4th July on Monday, the residents actually notified Camnet TV stating that the body of a man who has not been identified but is suspected to be between 25 and 30 was found here in this building. And so here are the views from the residents who actually want the building to be demolished.
Tochoka ku market kuseni tapeza abana basobera apa ndiye kukamba ati muli chitumbi umu muli chitumbi so ndiye wamete ndira bazimaite nze batatu tangenamo tapeza muntu nuwokufa achitasu so ndiye wamete ndira kuchita report ku polisi na kubauza ati kuli muntu afera mu chinyumba umu ndiye wamete bwerera na veve va polisi ndiye wampezera wamdobera uyo muntu
palero fya chitika basango umuntu wafumu ero terero fyamba kale fyamba kale dyonse baratora mu abantu abafu munomba chachiramu so I think ichefa ikafe bachitobe
yes building nda pashiramo bantu bambiri bachairapo magara na magara futi na rape case futi wakazi benangu tapeza ati munyumba peza kati wakachoka kukapena kutali huko wabwero mutairawo mufuti muri chechi chipiti mwayona ora futi peza kati mukazi unangu akamukira futi wabwero mulepingira mwameno mfuti bagayi cheve chifuna ngoza ati boma yanganepo pari building
so ngati wachifunsiza vachipwanje uli vachipazi tichipwandise kasi timbera munje mwa mugazi amwari mungalero apa ni muntu wakaere mwaona peza chamwari mwaona chaka ero vantu vakanza ndise fitampa so at least ndise vakuno vakanza bati basa expected ndise so at least vachipwanje vachichosepo chintu apa mwazi.
They further explained that one cannot pass here past 1830 hours because they will be attacked by community gangs commonly known as junkies.
Majanki achitaova vachitoimirira pamene apa 19 hours isipita.
Meanwhile, Camnet TV took a step further and talked to the owner of the building, Miss Ruth Piri, who has explained that this building was actually started by her late husband, but then the family failed to complete the building following his death.
Over the building, my husband died some 2.5 years ago. It's a building permanent nankala pants wa family. Kwenye makwarozi so hapa tunaenda na court. We are planning to sell that building. Ero yo ya mene lero ndiye pamene na dabwati mwapezeka muntu wakufa. Kaya ngatafe ngatiba mupaira mwamene mujolo bamutaira mo chabela ya I don't know because simankala kuna na ine ni.
She explains that the matter is currently in court and so they cannot demolish the building as the land is not yet fully in the hands because the court procedures have not yet been concluded. But she explains that as soon as the court procedures are completed, this building will be demolished. The residents, however, say they cannot wait that long and would like action immediately. Now, Camnet TV has been carrying a number of stories where a number of communities have incomplete buildings, and these have actually been seen to be used for illicit activities by criminals. We further reached out to the area councillor, Mr. Aaron Mwanza, and this is what he had to say.
So we are planning to get maybe those containers to be mounted here, so that the police officers can be guarding this place as we are waiting for demolishing of this area, and also so we'll do that next week. So we want to work with the deputy, so by next week we bring a container here.
Now, the Department of City Planning at the Lusaka City Council has been conducting an audit of such buildings to have them either sold off in the event that their owner is recognized, and in the case that the owner is not known, for them to be demolished. Security has been one of the major concerns in the face of communities that have such buildings. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Well, there you have it. We hope that that situation will be sorted out with the urgency it actually deserves, because in the course of a week, losing 2 people and more of those that we haven't heard about is very sad.
Because the cases keep on rising in that area. You know, Chibole is one...
I'm scared of that place. I'm sorry for those that stay
I think on a bet they have to take... I'm taking Precious to Chibole tomorrow.
They're good people there, I can't lie.
Yes, they're good people.
And they're very, very hard-working individuals around that area. I've gotten time to just actually check when we're passing there, either using a personal car or on a public transport, and you'll find that there are women that there's a market. There's a market, and there's actually very affordable goat meat, so I hear. Yeah.
You've gone there before?
No, I've heard stories, the people that have actually gone there. It's a good place.
Yeah,
it's just that there's a certain number of, or a group of people that just misbehave. But with the proper monitoring and discipline, it's actually a good business area.
It's going to work out. Looking at the councillor's view to say they'll bring up containers that...
Hopefully the police people won't be victims. We're praying so.
No, I don't think so.
We hope they won't be victims. No. But anyways, yeah. Getting on to our first conversation of the day, in the studio we're joined by Apostle Jeff Gracer. Like we mentioned earlier when we started the show, we mentioned earlier that we will be having somebody who will talk about the conversation of where there's certain emotions that are attached when someone decides to actually stop going to a certain church because of that one particular individual, because of how they feel they're being treated at that particular place. Well, good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you and good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's quickly get into it. Overcoming church hurt. What exactly is church hurt?
Well, church hurt is the kind of pain that you experience, the kind of hurt, the stuff that you go through when you are in the church, the negative emotions that you feel because of various events that may happen. You know, when you're in the church, you're going to realize soon enough that the church has got a society on its own. You know, it's made up of different people, and some of these people are the same people that come from the world, are the same people that come from our communities. So when we come, we also make up the church society, and you're bound to have different experiences and different, events that happen, which are going to be a surprise to you, because when you come to church, you expect to find perfect people. You expect to find good people, but then you step on each other's toes, and unfortunate events happen, and that can be very hurtful, very disturbing. Yeah.
Okay, now we all know when you are in a certain industry, especially, let me just give an example of artists. Most of them sing about things that they've gone through. They are motivated about certain events that have happened in their life and past experiences. Yeah. You're writing a book about overcoming church hurt. Are you a victim, or what prompted you to actually come forth and write a book?
Yeah, well, like everybody else, like I said, we all have our own stories. So I grew up in a Christian home. All right, so my mother has been a Christian for the longest time, and I've been in that space as well. So from there, I would see her move from one church to another. And when you're a kid, you don't even know why you're moving to the next church. But then growing up, I'd overhear conversations. Obviously, something went down from the previous church. So then we would move. I think we moved to about 2 churches, and I joined the next church that I joined. I started playing pianos and stuff, and being in the choir. There were interesting and hurtful experiences there, And I remember there'll be days I'd be like, you know what, I'm not going to church again, because this one is saying this about me because I'm the guitarist or the pianist. So there were days I'd feel like I'm not playing again, And then henceforth forward, I became a youth pastor. Very terrible experiences that I experienced there as well. And I served in a particular church, which I have my own other church stories. church hurt stories, which some of them have put in the book. And being a pastor now with my own ministry has exposed me to hear very hurtful, experiences that people go through from our church, of course, and just other people that come from other churches. I'll tell you that very few people leave one church to another church happy. Most of the people that migrate from one church to another, it's because they have a problem with the other one. So yeah, it's experiences that I've gone through and experiences that I've seen other people go through. Research, of course, and God's direction has led me to write the book.
Oh, okay, great. Sarah?
Amazing. Okay, we would love to know more about church hurt. So we want to know who is behind church hurt, and also what are the causes of church hurt.
All right. Now, who is behind church hurt? Obviously, the devil. The Bible says that, Jesus said, I will build my church and the gates of hell shall not prevail. That is to say that doesn't mean the gates of hell will not attempt. That doesn't mean that the gates of hell will not attack, the church. So one of the things I highlight in the book is the spirit of confusion. When you are hurt in church, you're going to be thrown in a state where you're confused. You don't know, why am I being hurt in God's house? And if God really loves me, why is He allowing me to go through so much trauma, to go through so much pain, to go through these kinds of things? And there are quite a number of issues that bring church hurt. And I've mentioned about 10 in the book. One of them is deaths that happen at church. When somebody dies at church, it's a very, very traumatizing and painful moment. For example, accidents that happen at church. Things that happen, which maybe the church is not even in control of. Maybe somebody just gets bashed, or a child gets run over at the parking at church, and all that kind of stuff could be very hurting for the family. I talk about hurt from the pulpit, where I have a story that I write in the book, where somebody went and told their pastor something in confidence, and the pastor went to preach about it on the pulpit. And the person is like, what? I shared this thing in confidence for you to help me, not to make a sermon out of it. So there's hurt from the pulpit, and then there's also hurt that comes as a result of moral failure. That is when your pastor or a leader in the church, falls short in their moral capacity. How do you feel when you hear that your pastor's pregnanted somebody, or a leader is having an adulterous affair, or all these kind of things? They hurt people. And if you're in such kind of a space, many people have just decided to say, you know what, I'll just be watching the TV. I don't want to be going to church anymore, because it's just terrible, it's painful. So there are quite a number of church hurt causes, and which I've just highlighted in the book.
Okay, that's really amazing. Okay, so you've told us on the causes, so we would love to know as well on how one can overcome and heal from church hurt as well.
Yeah, I've put practical steps in the book that are going to help you to navigate your way through church hurt and get to a place of healing. So one of them that you need to do is to make sure that you believe, in God again. Because one of the things church hurt is going to do is to put you in a place where you feel God doesn't love you. Because why am I being hurt so much if God really loves me? So number one, maintain a positive attitude towards God. Know that though somebody said something negative against you, that doesn't mean that God doesn't love you. Though somebody did something terrible and they misrepresented God in their space, that doesn't mean that that is what God thinks or feels about you. All right. So the first and most important thing is for you to understand that God is still in love with you, and His plan for you are good and not to harm you. All right. So that's very important. There are very terrible experiences that people go through in church. We have reports of rape cases. Our females are being raped in church. We have reports of money laundering. People have invested their monies in a church program, maybe like a village banking program, and somebody from the church runs away with the money, and that was probably their only money. They are hurt and they're like, you know what, I'm done with church stuff. There are issues I talk about in the book, like failed or unfulfilled prophecies that happen. Somebody's told this is going to happen to you if you do this and if you do that, and it fails, and they're just thrown aback. So yeah, the book has good practical steps of healing that are going to help you. I heard you earlier talking about, I think it was the first program, mental health care. And the church, because it's a society, it also has an impact on your mental health.
Yeah.
So I have a chapter there I talk about church hurt and mental health, and how that mental illnesses and personality disorders are triggered or can be triggered because of the church environment itself. Somebody said that I've been depressed in church more than anywhere else. I've been depressed in church more than anywhere else. Pastors have been depressed, choir leaders, church elders, and even members that come. Imagine you come for a service and the usher doesn't greet you well, but you've been okay.
You can sense energy anyway.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, so, and then you get in that space and they're just negative vibes in the church and all that stuff. The pastor maybe is having a mental health issue. He's just bashing everybody on the pulpit and all that stuff. So, and the people are excited. They want to hear God's word. They want to hear God's plan for them. They want to hear what is God saying. What is God saying about them. And if you don't know, maybe the pastor is having anxiety. Not that it's demonic, but it's a mental health issue. So I have a chapter there that deals with that. And it's an amazing read.
Oh, okay. So this interview actually came at the right time. We are about to summarize on our interview. You're launching the book today, so if anyone would want to maybe have a copy or get to know, because there are those that would want to have a conversation with the author of the book before they purchase it, and also I don't know about the other people, but if I wanted to buy a book, I would want to know your background story, why you wrote the book, how it will benefit me as an individual, and stuff like that. So if there's anyone that would want to get to have an interaction and get to know more about the book, what are the contact details and which platforms can they find you on as we conclude?
All right. So the book is launching today. Touch Pamosi Hotel from 18 hours. And you can find me on Facebook, Apostle Jeff Gracer, and Instagram as well. And the number there, I have a WhatsApp number on Facebook, 076 1919312. 076 1919312. So drop me a WhatsApp message. And
hope you respond.
I do eventually.
Okay, thank you so much for coming through, and we're praying that your launch will be successful, and we're praying that this book will actually change many lives, because a lot of us have been victims of church hurt, and we didn't even notice that. We've just been wondering why we've been moving from one church to another. I'm not talking from experience. I'm just trying to put myself in the same cycle. So yeah, so we're hoping that this will actually answer so many questions that people get to have about church hurt. And yeah, all the best once again.
Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, remember we're still on the Camnet Breakfast, and our conversation of the day is the role of the Drug Enforcement Commission. So which is the next conversation that we will be getting into right after this one. We're having a conversation with Apostle Jeff Gracer, and I hope that you will find time to look out for this book, and hope that it will answer some of the questions if you have been a victim of church hurt. Well, right about now, we'll take a short break, and then we'll come through with the other conversation on the other side.
summoned to appear for questioning before the Drug Enforcement Commission under the Anti-Money Laundering Unit Thursday morning. Former First Lady Esther Lungu was nowhere near the premises of DEC as officers waited for her arrival. Mrs. Lungu's summons are allegedly believed to be in connection with the 15 houses seized by DEC last week in State Lodge, which she has claimed ownership. And when contacted for a comment on why she did not appear before DEC this morning, counsel representing her, Makebi Zulu, explained that the call-out summoning her was done this morning, demanding that she appears before the Anti-Money Laundering Unit at 11 hours. According to Mr. Zulu, the summon was on short notice, hence they requested for more time.
DEC sent a notice to us this morning, and obviously we don't just sit and doing nothing. We were busy as lawyers, and the time we got in touch with the client, she was not available at that particular time. And the next available time for us to be able to go there with her would be Tuesday. And we wrote to DEC to inform them before time that we will not be able to make it. We thought they were going to be prudent enough to address you journalists and let you know that we wrote to them and intimated that we're not going to make it, but clearly they did not let you know.
Meanwhile, by broadcast time, the Drug Enforcement Commission had not yet released any official statement with regard to the matter in subject. Last week, the Drug Enforcement Commission seized 15 flats in State Lodge without tying anyone to the said property. But after a weekend of speculation, Makebi Zulu advocates, acting on behalf of the former First Lady, confirmed that indeed the said 15 flats belonged to Mrs. Lungu, who also has the title to the housing complex. However, Minister of Land Elijah Muchima said the ministry has no record to show coordinates for the land upon which the seized houses have been built. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
And welcome back from that short break that we had. And thank you for keeping tuned with us since the time we started. We had first of all the health talk, and later on we were joined by a guest. And right about now, Precious, we have another guest who
Yes, of course.
Yes.
We don't have drugs, don't worry.
We don't have drugs.
We are very safe. We're joined by the Public Relations Officer from the Drug Enforcement Commission, Mr. Matthias. How are you? It's been forever.
Oh, yes.
It's been forever.
Yes.
Good to see you.
I need to
Did we meet this year? No, we didn't.
We haven't.
It was last year. So Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you
After
too.
6 months.
I think Happy New Year for me as well.
Anyways, you have actually been the current trending institution currently, because there's so much that you've been doing. We've been hearing arrests, investigations, summoning and stuff like that. Let's get into the role of the Drug Enforcement Commission.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to actually explain some of these things. Number one, we have a role to look at drug and substance abuse in the country. So anything drug related, illegal drugs, we are in that space as a commission. So on that front, we have two roles. The first one is to arrest anyone who is found abusing, who is found trafficking. The second part is for us to educate members of the public on the awareness on issues to do with the dangers of drug and substance abuse. And with that, we also offer counseling services, free counseling services to those that are drug dependent. Yeah. On the other hand, the third role that we have is the one that has to do with prohibition and prevention of money laundering. So we are more or less like one institution which has two big institutions in itself, because on one hand we're dealing with financial crimes, and then the other hand we're dealing with drugs and the like. So that, in a nutshell, is the role of the Drug Enforcement.
Okay. So this is the first time I'm hearing about you guys actually offering counseling services to those that are drug dependent. Half the time when somebody mentions DEC, the first thing that comes to my head is marijuana. The first thing that comes to my head is the abuse of marijuana. But what are you doing to make sure that people understand the mandate of the institution?
We have a full-fledged department which is spread across the country that does education on a daily basis. When they report for work, They go out in the field, they go to schools, to workplaces, to markets, to everywhere, to just raise awareness on drug and substance abuse. So for them, their role is to do that, whilst a section of them would remain in the office waiting for those that are coming for help in terms of, those that are drug dependent, those that are seeking, to stop the vice. They would go to their offices and then they offer them the counseling services. We would like to step up that part into having a full-fledged rehabilitation center, a national rehab center, where we can,
apart from China.
Yeah. So where we can take in people and, over a period of time, help them to detox, and after that period, then we take them back into society. As you know, the private institutions that are there that are offering this service, the price is quite high for an average Zambian, but the problem of drug and substance abuse touches all types, from the poor to the rich, from whichever race. There's somebody who is really struggling with the issues of drug and substance abuse. So now, for them to be able to afford this, we need a national rehab or something that is run by the state, where the people will not be required to pay anything, and they'll be taken in and they can be assisted.
Okay, so now let me just take you a little back when Zambia, or maybe the world or the global, was actually hit with the COVID-19 pandemic. We had issues of misuse of drugs by youths, because half of the places that they had to go and keep their minds busy were closed. What are some of the proactive measures that you have actually put in place in terms of wanting to prevent the vice in these compounds?
Okay. One of the things we are doing is, of course, the operations where we go in to arrest, especially those that are supplying these drugs onto these streets. If you've noticed, in the recent past, we've made quite a number of arrests. Some of them have involved almost 10 kilograms of heroin that was coming in from South Africa into the country using the buses. And this drug, actually, if it had been offloaded onto the streets of Lusaka, it would have actually done a lot of devastation to the youth of this country. And so we have heightened operations in the border areas, in the exit routes and all that, so that, number one, Zambia is not used as a place where drugs are being traded, but secondly, Zambia is not used as a transit point for drug trafficking. We had some cases not too long ago where some drugs had been packaged, came in from South Africa, put in some pallets or something like that, and they were being exported to the United Kingdom. And so we intercepted that, and we managed to actually, apprehend the people that were behind that. So on one hand, we are conducting those operations. On the other hand, the education aspect that we're talking about, it has also been heightened, where up to now, I think we have reached physically more than 200,000 people in terms of our officers interacting with them in the various activities that we are conducting. So that two-front issue, plus we're trying to work with parents. If you speak to teachers in most schools, they will tell you that they are finding, that a child is, instead of them carrying juice in their juice bottle, you find there's alcohol, there's codeine, there's, some illegal substance, which they are not supposed to carry. Now, if you look at a child who can afford a drinking bottle, it means that they are coming from a home. There's a parent somewhere who is, even packing the juice. Maybe halfway they throw out the juice or they drink it and add that particular substance. Now, parents must be able to be vigilant enough to check what is in the bottle. Once in a while, when the child is coming from school, even if you drink and you finish, there's always a little that will remain. Try and test that to see if it is...
even just when washing the bottle, there's a certain scent.
The scent. Pick up the scent and see how you can assist. Because if we say DEC alone should fight drug-related cases, we'll have a problem. We're not going to manage. But if each and every parent joins in the fight, we are assured that we're going to have, you know, a success at this particular fight. But if it is left to a few individuals, then we are fighting a losing battle.
Okay. And also during the day, we see more of young people, especially the street kids, misusing drugs or maybe even smoking marijuana during daytime. What are some of the consequences?
Drug abuse is a criminal offense, and drug trafficking is also a criminal offense. The difference between being found in possession of drugs and being found trafficking is not in the use, like if I get drugs I'm going to sell, then I'll be charged with trafficking. No, it is in the quantity that you have. So the quantity you have, if it is above 0.5 grams, then you are found to be trafficking. Now, I know obviously Sarah may not know how much 0.5 grams is,
No.
but I'm sure my brother in the studio understands. Obviously, he has interacted with these things.
Yeah.
Have you?
That looks like a yes, no. Yeah.
One ball of marijuana is about 0.8 grams. Up to 1.2, 1.5 grams, which means you are found with one ball, already you are found to be trafficking. So even if you're going to smoke it yourself, you are deemed to be trafficking because of the quantity. And the consequences of that are that, number one, when we arrest you, we're not going to give you police bond. You go to court, you're not going to be given bail until the whole case has been disposed of, in which case you'll be given, custodial sentence, where you go to prison or to the correctional facility for a period of time.
Which is how long?
It ranges actually from 1 day going all the way to 10 years for the first offender. For a
First
second
offender, 10 years, guys.
For a second offender, it ranges, the minimum that you can get is 10 years. So from 10 years
to life imprisonment?
To 25 years. So now,
25 years, Justin.
25 years you're behind.
Just prison.
Yeah. Not even a day. One of the programs we have as a commission is to visit these prisons to see where are we sending people. And I can assure you, it is not something that anyone wishes. I wouldn't even wish it for my worst enemy. But because it is the law that has been established, we need to enforce it and to ensure that there is sanity in our communities.
Okay,
that's
Sarah?
really amazing. Okay, well, how does the commission come in terms of the investigation? When it comes to
collaborating with other investigators.
So one of the very, very reliable partners that we have is the Zambia Police. DEC doesn't have its own cells or facilities to accommodate accommodation. So we rely on the ones that are being run by Zambia Police, but also even in terms of investigations, we work very closely with Zambia Police. We also work with other law enforcement wings, like the forestry and National Wildlife and the like, because as they are conducting their investigations, they may come across something that touches on our mandate, and so we work with them. We work with institutions like the Anti-Corruption Commission, the Financial Intelligence Center, and all these institutions. So everyone that is in the law enforcement, including ZRA, quite key in what we do. We've had a lot of seizures that we've made, both on the drug side and also on the money laundering side, where we have worked with the Zambia Revenue Authority.
Okay, so now we have seen, personally, I feel like it's been a trend currently from the Drug Enforcement Commission and investigations on prominent people. Talks in the society or in the streets are that there's witch hunting, there are certain individuals that are being targeted. Is there like, and also the president spoke about investigating before one is arrested or summoned for investigation. Can you just highlight more on that?
Thanks, Precious. First and foremost, we have more than 600 cases that we are investigating from the financial investigation side. Now, that involves people that are known and people that are not known. When we make a report on somebody that is not known, nobody pays attention. But if you go to our Facebook page, you look at the statements we've been making, there's just a day or two ago, we arrested like 3 Zambians and 5 Nigerians and things like that. So when you look at the names, they're not familiar. Any bell. So if you look at even the type of offense that is there, it's huge, involving over 83 million kwacha. And yet, because these names are not known, people will not really pay attention. But the moment you touch a figure that has been known to the Zambian people, then there is, oh, DEC is now working. No, we've always been working. But at the same time, when we are investigating these prominent people, there's a way in which information will go out there, sometimes by themselves. For instance, we issued a summon to somebody, and they take a photo of that, they display it on Facebook and things like that, which doesn't happen with the other people that we are investigating. And so there's a way in which this information about the prominent people comes out, but at the same time, that does not negate the value of investigations that we are doing as Drug Enforcement Commission. There is no witch hunt whatsoever with anyone or anywhere at any given time. DEC is an institution that receives reports from members of the public. If Sarah came and said, no, Precious is suspected to be doing A, B, C, D, investigations will call for us to go and verify the information that has been given to us. There's certain cases that we close off without even the person who has been accused being invited, because we find everything in order, and so we close off and we tell Sarah, no, that case you reported, what we found is everything is straight, and so we are closing the matter. There are others where we need to now take them to the next step, where we see the things that Sarah would have seen, and when we see those things, we take the investigations further. As part of investigations, it's important that we call the person who is accused so that we record a statement from them. Now, statements are in 2 parts. There is one which is just, an ordinary statement. We just want to find out, Mr. Whoever, what do you know about this property, or what do you know about this issue and the like? And once we do that, if the person explains, we will go back and verify the information they would have given us. And at that point, we can even close off. There's another type of statement that we do, which is a statement under warn and caution, where you warn the person, you tell the person, okay, we are investigating a matter that has to do with probably illegal purchase of a motor vehicle or a house or whatever. And this case, you are the accused person. You've been accused of A, B, C, D. You have the right to remain silent if you want. You have the right to have a lawyer or a relative to be present when we are recording this statement. But know that what you tell us can be used as evidence in a court of law. So that under warn and caution, the person now will explain. They are aware that, okay, this is much more serious, and they know the reason why they've been invited. And once we record that, again, it doesn't mean that the person is guilty and we have to. No, if the person gives a reasonable explanation and we go and verify and find that these issues are adding up, we will close off the case. But there are certain times when, of course, we have to take it higher into an arrest, and we take the case to NPA for prosecution. So there is no witch hunt. Investigations are conducted in accordance with the law and thoroughly, because at the end of the day, we don't want to be used as an institution to cleanse a person who is guilty for them to look like they're not guilty. We will conduct the investigations thoroughly. It doesn't matter the name of the person, it doesn't matter the race of the person, it doesn't matter their status, current, past, future, it doesn't matter.
Not even political affiliation.
Not even political affiliation. And that in itself is what brings professionalism to investigations that we conduct as DEC.
Okay, so now, as in conclusion, what is the role of the DEC with the current FIC Financial Intelligence Center trend report? What is the latest?
And
what is the way forward?
It's actually a very important report because if you look at the trends analysis report, it looks at what are the common money laundering issues that are trending in the country. As you can see, this is the 7th, and there's been a number of them that have been coming out. The current one, they themed it Cash Bonanza. Now remember, even DEC, I think I made a report sometime last year that there was a lot of cash that was on the community, in the society, and people were splashing money carelessly like that. And it's because they took money out of the banking systems, the financial systems, and started using this money, as cash. That in itself, that highlight from the report, speaks to the issues that we've been dealing with as DEC and speaks to the cases that we have been handling. So it's a very important report that, guides the investigations and alerts us to say, look in that area, and that in itself is the importance that it brings. But before the report is produced, when FIC does its analysis, they will disseminate the information to us as the law enforcement agency. So most of those cases that are in the report are already with us. Those that came to the DEC are already under investigations. There are some that have even been concluded, and others are still under investigations. Others are actually in court. And so it's a very important document to us, which looks at the trends that are going on within the country.
Okay, and 5 seconds. What are your concluding remarks?
Stay away from drugs. Stay away from issues of money laundering.
Okay, that was quick. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into our last conversation of the day. We're just having a conversation with the Public Relations Officer from the Drug Enforcement Commission, Mr. Matthias, and it actually highlighted on a lot of things. And like he has mentioned, stay away from drugs. Let's get into our next interview of the day.
Because in our country we share names. This is the truth. And now that you know, then you start dealing with the matter. You don't have to. If they said has vanished, I'm not aware. But there is nothing like vanishing. Nobody can vanish. You are in the country, you'll be found. And for them to say that, it's because they knew the person who is the rightful owner, not of the name, but of the property. Not of the name, because there are other people with the same names. Let us not say, is it an intention to reach who? No, nobody is targeting anybody. Not by intention. Oh, yes, that is true. Nobody, Madam Speaker, is targeting anybody. Nobody will come and just create, for example, something and say, Chirangwa, you are the one. You will prove yourself.
Honorable member for
I think, Honorable Madam Speaker, this is the truth of the matter. Let us relax. Let us relax as a nation. This government means well. No. I don't want to start talking too much. I think I need to have a private meeting with this one. What is happening in the country? Who do you want to be followed? Me? I have nothing. I am not. Listen, I am not carrying any animal on my shoulder for anything.
Women for the National Democratic Congress Party, Akafumba faction, have gathered Friday afternoon to address what they describe as an anomaly for Savoy Mbwela to continue masquerading as NDC party president when the party does not recognize her as such. Speaking to journalist, NDC National Chair Lady Maureen Sensei says Savoy should desist from claiming to be president, for it is misleading the public.
She knows very well that this case is in court. And any time we are waiting for the ruling. But you see what Savoy is doing? She's all over. She's all over masquerading as NDC president. We are warning Savoy. We are warning her as women. We don't want to argue with her over this issue. We are waiting for the courts of law to judge the matter. We are very disappointed with Savoy.
Speaking at the same event, NDC Deputy Secretary General Grace Mwanza has expressed displeasure over the remarks that Savoy Mbwela made when she addressed the media on Tuesday, saying it was uncultured for her to claim that the UPND government officials are of a gross morality.
Savoy has been acting alone. There's no leader who can be able to work alone. Every leader has subjects under them. But look at the way Savoy is misbehaving. She's all by herself. She's all over. And her speeches are not even worthy listening to. As a woman's lobby chairperson, she's supposed to be a guide to the many women, more especially the young ones that are the upcoming politicians. She is a big discouragement and a disgrace to the nation. As an elderly person, Savoy is not supposed to be discussing sexual matters that are happening at the hotel. It's for this reason that we come here as women of NDC who have partnered with UPND. We are in an alliance. We are not in an alliance for the jobs. We are there to give checks and balances.
Mercy Chanika reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Well, welcome back. You're still watching the Camnet Breakfast, and right about now, joining us on set is the prodigal son returns. Mr. Hamwendo, how are you?
I'm alright. How are you?
Good to see you. Look very smart. Ready for church after this?
Yes.
Okay. When last were you church?
But you should pray for me.
Happy Sabbath, anyway.
Yeah, happy Sabbath.
And we're getting into it. We were just our health conversation on the Health Talk segment. We're talking about how one can identify mental health at an individual level and also in societies. And also, we had a conversation with the one of Drug Enforcement Commission's Public Relations Officer, and he spoke about the mental effects of abuse of drugs. So let's just quickly, it's like we haven't done a lot of sensitization when it comes to disadvantages of drug abuse and how bad it can actually spoil someone's life when it comes to the mental health. So let's quickly just get into the mental perspective of drug abuse.
Okay. Most of these drugs that are abused are called psychoactive drugs. So what I understand is that they cross an area of the brain called the blood-brain barrier. So if they cross the blood-brain barrier, obviously they tend to affect more of the frontal lobe. And the frontal lobe is the area of the brain that is responsible for your behavior, your personality, and your emotions. So the effects of drugs, for example, on the brain is that you might have emotional problems, you might have change with personality, and also you have problems in other areas of life. So mostly what we see, the major drug that causes, for example, sleep disorders. By sleep disorders, I mean things such as insomnia. So insomnia doesn't only have to deal with you failing to sleep, but it could be you sleeping but not having refreshing sleep. So one of the drugs is alcohol, number one. That's why you find that most of the people who drink alcohol, especially in large amounts, when they don't drink alcohol and not able to sleep. Then you also have things such as marijuana. Marijuana also causes sleep disorders. It also causes anxiety problems. So if a person hasn't smoked, most of the times they'll have feelings of anxiety. Then it might also cause mood disorders. So these mood disorders can be depression, which is pathological sadness, normally which comes with suicidal ideas, feelings of worthlessness, guilt, and hopelessness. Then it might also be on the manic side. So mania is simply the opposite of depression. So if you have low libido, for example, or low energies in depression, then in mania you be very high libido, and we find that most of the times these people, because of the hyper libido that they have, will tend to engage in unsafe sexual activities, and they might get STIs and have children out of wedlock. Then plus these are the other things that it comes with impulsivity. So some of them will be gamblers and will spend money recklessly. So those are just very lot, but those are just some of the psychological effects of drugs. And most of the reasons why people would come to China, the reason why people would seek out mental health services is simply because of this. So a parent wouldn't know most of the times that the child is abusing drugs. I've met parents who didn't know that the child was abusing drugs, and they only knew 10 years later. And the only way they knew is simply because of a change in personality, and this there was a problem with the emotions. Yeah.
Okay, so now it's good that you've actually mentioned that there are people that takes 10 years to notice that the child has actually been abusing drugs. So let's talk about noticing at early stages that someone is abusing drugs, especially the children in a home.
So, well, there are a few things that you might look out for. Number one, because you know that if you are high, then obviously your concentration will be very low. So if it's a school-going child, for no apparent reason, the school grades will start dropping. So that might be drug abuse or something else. Then the other thing is that a child will be spending unusual time away from home. So as a parent, you need to know how long it takes for a child to move from their school to the place where you're living. But if maybe they're supposed to take 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and now they're taking 2 hours, and there might be a problem. Then unusual need for money, because you know that they need to buy the drugs. So if this child is using money without accounting for it and asking you for money without really giving you proper reasons, then that might be a reason. Then we see that sometimes if you don't have money, they might start stealing. So a child who steals, because most of the times, again, parents will just come to say this child is stealing, and when you do a drug test, you find that they're abusing these substances, so stealing as well. Then a change in personality, like I mentioned. So it could be that a child was extroverted and now they're just introverted, or they were introverted and now they become extroverted. Then they might also have this isolation. So instead of choosing to interact with family members or to eat on a dining table, they would want to eat alone and spend time alone. Those are some of the things that we can pick out. Then obviously there's this common adage that says, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. So as a parent, if you see that your child is hanging out with the wrong gang in the community, then obviously that's also a sign that they might be using drugs.
And that's really amazing. You mentioned something concerning depression.
Yes.
So, and something concerning somebody having challenges or difficulties when it comes to sleeping. They would sleep, but they wouldn't have
restful
sleep. So how can one get to have a peaceful sleep? And okay, we just go for the sleep, because he mentioned something concerning those are the people who even take alcohol for them to have enough rest.
So does mental health have an effect on how one sleeps, or does drug abuse have an effect on how one sleeps?
We'll go for alcohol first.
But people black out and they sleep properly when they drink
but you know, there are some who don't love to take maybe alcohol or not even drugs. So what advice can you give such a person who is having maybe a mental health, condition like that?
That's leading to sleepless nights?
Yes.
Okay, so most of the mental illnesses will come with sleep disorders. So alcohol cause mental illnesses. Then how do you sleep if you've been drinking alcohol and you want to stop, but if you do not drink, you won't sleep?
You won't sleep.
The proper way obviously is to detox. So with detox, we use drugs again. Drugs are given to you to get rid of the alcohol, because the proper way to stop alcohol, if you've been drinking for a long time in large amounts, you're not just supposed to stop abruptly, because the reason why you go back are the withdrawals, and one of the withdrawals is actually insomnia. So you go to a health facility and they'll give you what they call a detox regime, and they'll detox you and you'll be able to go back to sleep. But if it's not helping, they'll take you what they call there's counseling that is called sleep hygiene counseling. So sleep hygiene counseling includes things such as you exercising, because if you're not exercising and you're not tired, then it will be very hard for you to sleep. And if you're sleeping during the day, it would be hard for you to sleep again at night. Then things such as you eating at least 2 hours before going to bed, you avoiding exercise at least 2 hours before bedtime, and you avoiding bathing, especially cold water, at least an hour to 30 minutes to an hour before going to bed. And those are just some of the things that they might help you with. But the mainstay treatment is detox. If this lack of sleep persists, then we might go for that therapy, or if it doesn't, then melatonin, which is just a hormone that your brain releases, is given to you. There are a lot of drugs that can be given to you, herbal drugs, to just help you sleep.
Okay. Let's get into, in conclusion, what is the latest when it comes to the mental health facility? What is a trending situation that you've been facing currently at the facility?
The trending obviously is always alcohol. There are people drinking a lot, so that's a trending one. But the good news obviously is because I saw the man from Tech was here, so he's a stakeholder in this fight against drug abuse. So they bring patients to China, and we're able to give them counseling. And what's training? Probably giving you heads up. So we're coming up with what we're calling standard mental health treatment guideline. So this standard mental health treatment guideline will go to all the facilities developed by China. It will go to all the facilities. So you do not only need to come to China to have to be treated for various mental health needs. You can go to any clinic, because they'll have a guideline that will guide them in treating different mental illnesses, and just
certain standards. Same standards.
Same standard everywhere. So
I think that's a good one, because me having some issues and I need counseling, and then I told my friend, no, I'm going to China. They'll probably think I've lost it, because that's what's in society, that's what we've grown up knowing.
So we'll have a book that any clinician, any medical doctor, any nurse can actually just use to treat any person.
Okay. Amazing. Okay, I think that's it. Closing remarks?
Closing remarks. There's something that I read recently, that the synonym to soberness is not sobriety, but it's actually connectedness, connections. So for these people who are going through different drug addictions, the best thing that we can do as families and as communities is to give them support, because they really need the support. And they got this example from a place like Portugal. So in Portugal, drugs are not illegal. So if you are caught with, for example, marijuana, you won't be taken to prison. So what they'll do is just integrate you back into society, give you a loan and start a business. And they've seen that the drug abuse and addiction is reducing because of this. So we can just simply come together and help these people, because addiction is also a mental illness.
All right, thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the program, and would love to say thank you to you for actually staying tuned from the time we started up until this point. Would love to say thank you to Apostle Jeff Gressler that came through earlier, and also Mr. Matthias Kamanga from the Drug Enforcement Commission, the Public Relations Officer. And right about now, would like to also say thank you to the guest that we're just from having a conversation with, which is Mr. Luyando Hamwendo, who is a psychiatrist, and was just explaining more on mental health and also the disadvantages of drug abuse. Well, from me, Precious Muzea Sakaleji, Sarah Chandamvanga, and also Elijah and Isaac Chifito on the other side, not forgetting Amos Lungu from the entire Camnet TV crew. It's have a beautiful day, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.